Hey everyone! Our objective today is to be comparing different amounts of money. And we're going to do that a couple different ways. Sometimes they're going to give us a table to kind of look at to organize our thoughts, and other times they won't. So we're going to talk about which one is more, which one's less. We might even get three amounts and put them in order from least to greatest or from greatest to least. So really, we're going to take all the things we've been doing up till now, counting cash, and we're going to now compare two piles of cash and talk about which one's more and less. Oh, look at what we have here. Two piles of cash. The alligator wants to eat one of these sets, either set A or set B. We have to figure out which set is more. I apologize if it looks a little blurry on the screen. Okay? All right. So as I'm looking at these, I always count my big bills first. Here's a 10. Here's a 10. Here's a 10. So I know right away I have $10, $20, $30. So I'm going to put a 3 in the tens place, 30. And then I have one and another one, $32, right? And I could put a decimal point if I wanted to and say, and no cents. But I do not need to do that, right? Because $32 is just fine. Down here, though, I don't have any tens. I have 5, 10, 15. I'm going to hold that in my head. 16, 17, 18, 19. So interesting, huh? If you look at this, this looks like more money, but it has smaller bills. This is the bigger one. I'm going to go ahead and say bigger. This one is more. This one is greater than, right, than this other one. You're going to be doing that quite a bit, counting two piles of cash, comparing them. Now, at first, like I said, they won't give you a table. They'll just give you a pile. But you don't actually even have to count all the money. That's the nice thing about looking at it in a table. When you separate your dollars and your cents, you can realize that the cents don't matter much. Kind of like the other letters in ABC order, you do not need to look at the cents. Even the dollar bills don't matter much, to be honest. You don't even have to look at the dollars. It's those $10 bills or the $100 bills that matter a lot. So always look to the hundreds or the tens to decide which one's greater, right? Would you rather have $20 and something or $30 and something? Well, I'm going to take the $30 more. I mean, that's way more. So the alligator's going to eat that side of things. So the nice thing about the table is, number one, you don't have to count the money. But number two, you don't even have to look at all of it. You can skip over the little stuff unless you have a tie, right? If they're exactly the same, then you have to move to the next place, the next spot to decide what's what. So that's an example of using a dollar and cent table. Pretty handy if they're going to give that to me. Here they have three numbers all set up in a table in case you want to use them. And they're asking us to find the littlest number and go all the way up to the biggest number. Notice that in the front here, I have a tie. So I can't just use the tens. I'm going to have to look at the ones and maybe even some of the cents. So here I have 0 ones. That's pretty little. 0 ones. That's pretty little. 4 ones. So I wasn't trying to, but right here I found the greatest number already. $44 and some other stuff. It happens to be 55 cents. But that 55 cents didn't much matter. So now I just really have to decide the difference between these two. Would you rather have 35 cents or 80 cents? 35 is the littlest. 80 is the next best. So $40 and 80 cents is kind of middle. And then $40 and 35 cents is the least. And I did that by using the table. I'm looking at the differences between the numbers and deciding which is more, which is the greatest, which is the least, and which comes in between. I think you'll see one other type of problem here where they might just give you $3 amounts, no table, and they're going to, hey, which one is the most? Which one is the least, right? And then they're going to ask you to put them in order, kind of like we did before, but this time they're not going to give us a table to help. This is what your page is going to look like. Here you have a table, and you see this little greater than symbol and this less than symbol. Remember, the open mouth, you want to put the big number in the open mouth. Big number in the open mouth. So, 15 is more than 14. So if it was me, I'd put the open mouth that way. See? 14 is less than 15. So now they've changed it on me, so I have to flip my symbol around to match. So if you flip the numbers, you might have to flip the symbol too. It just always needs to make sense. The alligator's going for the big one. Here's another page that you're going to be working on. Here you're going to put the money in these tables just by putting the 16 in the front and the second number in the back, right? And then you're going to look at them and say, are they the same? Which one's the greatest? Which one is the least? Same thing here. Put them in the box. Which one is the greatest? Which one is the least? This is another one that you have to do. This one, they've taken the table away and they want you to count the money. And then they say put a check in the box that's bigger, right? Yeah, you could put a check there or you could write bigger. Yeah, whatever you want. Which one's bigger, right? You'll have to count the cash to decide. When I put this in Seesaw, I'm going to make that picture much bigger, and I'm going to use real dollars in those spots so they look nice and crisp for you. All right, well, I think we're going to review that same math game from Greg Tang's website. It worked better on a laptop than it did on an iPad. iPads make you use 2 fingers when you're tapping the coins. On the laptop, you were able just to click with your mouse. So if you have access to a laptop, it might be easier to use that one today. If not, try the 2 fingers. It worked, just not as easily as it could be. Okay? Thanks, everybody. Bye now.